get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh.
Well, good morning, everybody. Say hello. I am back. I finally have some microphone sounds that sound pretty good, I believe. I wanted to talk about a couple things. The first one, I'm going to do a couple shorts. My shorts are usually 20 or 30 minutes. They're not very short. They're not 30-second shorts. So the first short I'm going to talk about is my expenses. That's why we have a split screen today. I decided to go ahead and go over my monthly expenses because they've gone up considerably since I moved to the new home versus an apartment. Now, I have done a video on the home earlier, which you could go watch, and I'll put a link to it in the description. I'll do an update on the home because it wasn't completely finished last time I videotaped it. So I'll videotape it again for you guys and give an update. We've done some more improvements. But in any case, long story short, for those that you don't know, is I moved from an apartment to a house. Carolyn has a motorcycle business. She rents scooters, and I needed more room in more parking area in the front and a good location where people can find me off of a main street. And we were able to luckily find a very good location in the community of Banalad, which is about a mile and a half south of the Robinsons Mall on National Highway, which is a major highway. With signage and with advertisement, Carolyn does very well. She rents out scooters. I put her up in business so that if something happens to me, she has an income, and she could live here. So that's another subject for another day. But in any case, we have a little over a dozen vehicles to rent, mostly Hondas and a few Yamaha NMAXs. The most popular is typically the Honda Click. We do not rent, or she does not rent, smaller than 125s or bigger than 160 cc, and provide helmets and all that. And she has a running business and has license to do that in her name. I obviously purchased the bikes, and I have them in my name, and there's a contract and agreement signed by a lawyer that says that she has the business, she runs it, it's her income, and basically upon my demise, she owns the motorbikes. She could transfer title. Now, what I'm going to do today is do my housing expenses. So you have to keep in mind that we run two things from the house. One is the studio, of course. The studio will start making money soon, and may have to be reported. I'm allowed so much a year after and above Social Security that I'm not in that bracket yet where I have to report anything. But I believe it's either 25 or 30,000 over and above my Social Security, and Social Security is not taxable. But anything, if I start making an income from this, anything 25 or 30,000, I have to start reporting it and pay tax on. And I'll deal with that when we get there, if we ever get there. And then, so I raised my expenses quite a bit because I moved from a two-bedroom apartment, very inexpensive. When I first moved there, it was around $22,000 a month. Rent, and we didn't really have anything going on there. Just her and me, Carolyn and myself. We've been engaged as of yesterday 29 months. So, we've been together 29 months. We've been engaged for almost 2 years, and I consider her my wife at this point. I just have not married her. I haven't taken the steps. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe next year. We'll see. Busy with the kids a lot the last couple of years. Very busy. And also I'm doing another computer classroom this year for Christmas. But getting back to the main subject, I wanted to go over some of my expenses in the new house because it's gone up quite a bit. Luckily, so is my income. So let's see. We're going to monthly housing expenses, and this is why I have a split screen so I can move these expenses up. So my house payment is 35,000 pesos a month, which is 640 USD. Now, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, very large house with living room, full big kitchen, a dining area, and it also has a guest house in the back with a very large dirty kitchen, a full bath, and a bedroom as well for guests. And then it has a lot of land in the front. And if you want to see what the house looks like in that, I did do a video earlier on the house that I have. I've spent actually a lot of time and money fixing it up to what I like. Now, roughly, probably spent around 600,000 pesos on air conditioners, split units, and speaking of which, I probably need to put the air on in here, and refrigerator, stove. I had to buy all the furniture, beds, everything. But that's all included. Some of that stuff is obviously mine. Some of that stuff goes into the house. I put in an area for parking scooters, which was pavers, and painted inside and out. I did all the improvements. I had told the landlord that I'll do all these improvements, but I wanted a long-term lease. I didn't mind spending the 500,000 or 600,000. Let me turn that air conditioner into silent. I didn't mind spending the 500,000 or 600,000 pesos because I told them I wanted a long-term lease, which they did give me. I do have. Let's see, go studio. Let me go silent. Quiet. There we go. So I have a 15-year total lease at 35,000, which is 640 USD. You can't get this in the U.S. Okay, you would never get a 15-year lease. You would never pay 640 for the amount of square footage I have. It's quite big, and it's perfect because I have a huge area in the front. I've added lighting. I have a garage in front, and it's all walled, has high walls, and gated, and it was perfect for Carolyn. And then I had an extra bedroom for me to create this studio. We may go into the studio one day too, as well as show it to you. It's not very big in the studio, but it's very complete. And therefore, the money I spent on it, and I'm going to say roughly 600,000. I spent another 250, 300,000 on the studio, and I spent a little bit more money. I can't remember exactly what it was for, but things like keeping the house cool by insulating it in the attic, adding vents, improving the water and system with pumps. I added a pressure pump, and a storage tank, things like that. So roughly 1 to 1.2 million was spent. A lot of that is mine. I could take it with me. Like I said, furniture, refrigerator with ice maker and water dispenser. And the way they do it here in the Philippines is they don't connect it up to the public water because you can't drink public water. They actually have about a 2-gallon container inside the refrigerator that you fill in the refrigerator, and then it pulls from the refrigerator water to make ice cubes and dispense cold water. So it's a very complete home. The next thing I have is electricity. Now, we spend a lot on electricity, 8,000 pesos, 145. Now, it may not be a lot in the States for a house, because I know I had a house in the States and it cost quite a bit, especially in California where I used to live. But we do spend more than most people on electricity because I'm washing the bikes, I'm running the studio. Now, there's not just Carolyn and myself. We also have her son living with us. And so we use a lot of power. I like the house cool. During the summer, the air conditioner, usually at least one's running 24/7, and a second one is running at night for the bedroom I'm sleeping in. So 8,000 pesos, 145 for electricity. Water we have a water leak. So I know we have a water leak. I think it's under the house. Typically, water is not this much money. You don't usually spend 1,600 pesos a month for water. Typical water usage is about a fourth of that. I know there's a water leak. It's not my house. I'm not going to start digging up the foundation to find out where the water is leaking. Eventually, if I'm just going to grin and bear it. I'm just going to pay the extra $30. It should be closer to about $7 or $8, maybe 10, because I use water to water grass, trees, plants, and wash the bikes. But for now, I'm pretty sure there's a leak, and I'm not going to deal with that leak right now. Moving up the line, we have internet. Now, internet, I just increased it to support the studio. I did have a 1,500 peso, raise it to 1,800, and then decided to go all out and go with 600 megabytes up and down fiber cable. When I wanted to go fiber cable, I had to pay for the fiber cable, and I had to replace what I had from the house to the street with fiber. And then I also had to pay, of course, an upgrade charge for fiber cable. We're now at 600 at the modem, 600. Now, in my studio, I'm using Wi-Fi. It runs about 400 because I have cement walls. But that's good enough for me, around 400 up and 400 down speed. So it's pretty good. I decided not to go with Starlink as of yet because they just raised the price in June. Maybe the end of May, April. Yeah, and they doubled it. So they're 3,800 roughly in pesos, 3,800 pesos now a month. And so I decided rather than put out the 40,000 pesos it would cost to buy the satellite, I decided just to pay the 3,000 pesos a month for now with PLDT, which is what they use out here. They either have Globe or PLDT, and I chose PLDT. Going up the line, we have a housekeeper. So this is a big house. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot to sweep, clean, and mop, and it's too much for Carolyn. And I also have the housekeeper take care of cleaning all the bikes and cleaning the kitchen. And I also send her for shopping sometimes and paying utility bills. I don't like paying bills. There are long lines here to pay bills. I'd love to pay it online, but I use BDO Bank, and I can only pay a couple of them online. Eventually, I will get GCash, and GCash is very convenient here because you can pay your bills. I just haven't taken the time to get approved with GCash. But that's the next step, and then you can just pay the bills with GCash, and you transfer from your bank account to the to the GCash from BDO Bank or the bank that you get, and it's real easy to pay those bills. But right now I send her, and she has to wait sometimes an hour. Okay. Upkeep and repairs. So there is constant upkeep and repairs in a house like this. And I don't want to bother the landlord. That was one of the agreements. Says I'm not going to bother the landlord about all the things that had to be updated. We just added grounding wire, copper clad 6-foot post into the ground and grounded out exterior outlets. I ran a copper line, had an electrician come in. Because we charge e-carts, and I didn't want anybody to get shocked because we have a lot of rain. And I was afraid of the cords being in the water and charging the carts in the rain and anybody outside. They're not really good about they put in grounded outlets here, but they don't put in the ground. They don't ground a box here. So I grounded everything that was close to water and had them drill through cement and run a copper wire to everything that was close to water, which includes bathrooms, kitchens, and exterior outlets. So we now have GFIs on those just for safety's sake. Eventually, I would like to purchase a generator because, as you all know, in Dumaguete, power is 97, 98% most of the time we have power, but there's just that little 2% that's annoying. It could happen at any point, at any time, on any day, for any amount of time. They do have some scheduled outages because they're running power from Valencia to the new airport, and so they schedule that on usually a Saturday or a Sunday. But there are times when it's just all of a sudden you got no power, which means you have no pressured water, no lights. It could be no air conditioner. It could be in the middle of the night. It could be at any point, any day. You never know, and it happens quite often in Dumaguete. So upkeep and repair. Now, eventually, when I buy a generator, they're about 80,000, and I'll have to have a switch over and things like that. So probably about 120,000 pesos. But right now I don't have that. I plan on a diesel generator. So right now I just have what I use now is I use backup power supplies that have lithium, just for it covers most everything for about 4 hours. I did get medical for myself and Carolyn. Mine's $58,000 a year for full medical, 100% coverage through Michael Onstead, which is Pacific Cross. And I got the same insurance for Carolyn, but hers is only $12,000. She's only 34. I'm 69. So together, 70,000, I believe. Yeah, 70,000 pesos a year, which works out to 6,000 pesos a month, or $110. It's full coverage. I do plan on adding her son to the coverage. I don't know what the premium is for that. I've just asked for it. Carolyn's son, Dominic, just moved in with us shortly, about a month ago. So I'm going to add Dominic to the policy. I don't expect them to be very expensive, probably 5,000 or 6,000 a year. The beauty of the Pacific Cross policy is it covers up to 1 million pesos in a hospital per year. It's no deductible. Any medicine that they prescribe, any medicine that they provide in the hospital, okay, and if they give you a prescription, if you get it in the hospital, they reimburse. If they give you a prescription, they don't have it in the hospital, and you have to go outside to one of the pharmacies, that you pay out of pocket. And I've used it multiple times last year. Hopefully I don't have to use it this year, but accidents do happen, especially when you're on a motorbike, which we've talked about in the past. So I very much like Pacific Cross, and if you get my ebook, and you can request it, you'll see on most of the videos I have. Even on this one, I'll put at the end. If you want to get the ebook, it talks about Pacific Cross and how to get the insurance, plus everything else. The ebook's really good, Andy, if you plan on coming here, even if a visit. The next thing we have is drinking water and gas. So gas is propane, that's for cooking, and drinking water we do not need. We do not drink tap water. Obviously, there's a lot of bacteria. Now, the Filipino citizens are used to drinking tap water. And if they freeze it in ice cubes and it's frozen solid, it will kill bacteria. So you don't have to worry too much about ice cubes. A lot of people think, oh my God, it's those ice cubes from tap water. Well, if it's frozen, it will kill the bacteria, as well as boiling. So either one, boiling it for several minutes or freezing it and to solid will kill the bacteria and you won't have a problem. But we use bottled water, large bottles. I have a pump that pumps it out and fills containers. We make our own ice through the ice maker in the refrigerator, and I only drink the tap water. The gas, the propane, I have two stoves, one in the dirty kitchen, one in the kitchen in the house. So I just kind of averaged out what it would cost per year for the propane and averaged out what we buy in water. So that is a monthly expense of $30 USD. Visa fees, that would be for me only. You do have an ACR card, which you have to renew every year. And every 2 months, I renew my visa, which is a couple thousand pesos for the renewal every 2 months and 3,000 for the ACR card. Other than that, there's not a whole lot you have to do except for leave the country after every 3 years. I do plan on leaving and going to Vietnam in January of 2026 that'll be my 3-year period. I have to leave for at least 24 hours, but I'll probably leave for a week. And I'm going to take Carolyn with me anyway. So that was, I totaled the year, and then what I did was I divided it by 12. So right here, you can see in USD, it's $1,343. That does not include food. So let's include some food. So in groceries, we spend roughly 15,000 pesos, or $273 a month on USD on food from the grocery store. and that's combined from what Carolyn buys in fruits and vegetables, and I buy the other staples. I also like to go out to restaurants. Carolyn doesn't go out to restaurants. I'm a restaurant guy. I'll go out to a restaurant and go a couple times a week and have either a dinner, a breakfast, or a lunch, at least 2, maybe 3 times. And so this is basically one person, me, going out to a restaurant 2 to 3 times a week with friends. And so it's another 10,000 pesos or $182 in food. So there you have about $1,800 is what I spend in United States dollars, and about 100,000 pesos. Now, luckily, my retirement Social Security covers that. So I have no problem with that, even if it rounded it out to I'm going to say $2,000. There might be some incidentals that I buy, like medicine or personal hygiene products that I buy or Carolyn buys that's not included in this. So for 2 people living in a nice home, and it's very nice here. I made it just perfect. It's almost at American living standard here, and I eat well, obviously, and I live well. And now some of this expenses will be offset because a lot of it is business expense for me and business expense for Carolyn. My business expense is the studio, the Goldfinger Minute. The other expense would be for Carolyn Easy Rider Rentals. So we can offset some of this as I deduct it from income. But at this point, I don't pay income tax. So you got to figure I need about 2,000 USD minimum, which I do get that and above from Social Security. So everything's pretty good here. That kind of covers it for expenses. And I appreciate anybody have questions. I didn't want to do this on a live because I didn't want to get interrupted or sidetracked, which normally I do all the time anyway. So if anybody has any questions about that, please feel free to comment and ask me, and I'll be happy to do that. Eventually, I will have an income from YouTube. And what I do also is, I didn't put it down here, but I donate for the children. So I used to donate 25,000 pesos a year for the first year, and I was here, and about the same for the second year. 25,000 pesos a month for the first year, and the second year, 25,000 pesos a month. I upped it now, starting in June, to 35,000 pesos. Because I can, and I enjoy the children. I like taking care of them. We do have a computer. I'm going to remind you, we do have a computer classroom. Once a year now, I set up a school with a complete computer classroom. Usually elementary school is what I deal with. I still have the helmet program going, but on the helmet program, it's strictly by somebody that comes to my home and requests it. I advertise free helmets for the children. So if they come to me, I will fit the helmet to them and write their name on the inside and outside of the helmet and let them decorate it. But they have to come to me. I don't do the schools anymore for helmets. It got to be a little too much because the schools here typically are several thousand children. And preparing and storing and buying and bringing several thousand helmets out and then only having a few dozen children actually wear them wasn't working out. But I figure if they take the time and come to me, I don't charge, it's free. But if the parents bring the children over and to where I live and I put it on there, I feel that the parents, and that's what I need is the parents' support. That helps quite a bit and makes it so that I know that the parents want it for the children, so that's why I do it only from my home now. They don't have to make an appointment or anything. They don't have to call me. They just show up, and we have helmets for them. And then the computer thing is for once a year in December. I set up a computer classroom last year in Kanduay. There is a video which I will add the link to this inside the description to the last time that Paul Old Dog and a few other wonderful expats helped me set that up. I'm not a computer wizard. I'm not technically. I depended upon other people and Nick, Hawkeye, and a few of these other people that know computers, and set that all up to make them all work. I just purchased the product, I numbered them, I labeled them, I got a security cabinet to support, to secure them, and set the whole scope with the power strips and everything else, and a big screen TV, and the teacher, which was an IT teacher they had at the school, I set him up with a high-end, high-speed laptop that I got from the States, and it was tied to all of the tablets, and though he can project everything onto the screen. It was very nice. I'll add the link to the video. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody. I know this has gotten a little long, but there you have some information, and if you plan on coming out. Honestly, a single person could do it for, you could live here on a single person for $1,000 US if you're not trying to build anything or create anything. You just want an apartment and you want food, and but when you start adding a girlfriend or fiance, you're going to add another 50% to that 1,000, so you're going to need 1,500. And if you get into a house versus apartment, and you have a lot of things going on, you can add more to that. But none of these expenses show expenses for upkeep and repair for scooters, because that's Carolyn's business. None of it really shows upkeep and repair for my studio. It's just monthly expenses. So the studio itself, which I'm recording from, was a separate expense. And ongoing expenses for that is mostly just new equipment or a little bit of electricity for running the air conditioner or lighting. It's not very much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. You guys take care, and please like and subscribe. I got to say that, I got to say like and subscribe, Everybody says you got to say that. Take care, everybody.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God.